Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our exclusive webinar under the banner of 6th Global Vertical Farming Show. My name is Rushda Zafar and I'm thrilled to be the facilitator for this session. Today, we are diving deep into a very exciting topic, that is business opportunities and profit potential in the vertical farming industry. We are joined by dynamic voices from the vertical farming ecosystem. Let me introduce you with Giulio Caselli, CEO of Wallfarm SRL. He's a smart farming visionary. Welcome, Giulio. Next in line, we have Dr. Emilia, founder of Cultiva EcoSolutions. She's the champion of eco-innovation and circular agriculture. Welcome to the webinar, Emilia.
Good morning. I warmly welcome our audience and thank you very much for introduction and for inviting me to today's webinar. It's truly a pleasure and honor to take part in such an expert panel. And I represent Cultiva EcoSolutions, consulting company specializing in sustainable agriculture and advanced horticulture. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emilia. Next in line, we have Julian Roche. He's the expert in agri-investment and emerging market. Welcome on board, Julian.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on board. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's get started without any further delay. Now I would like to start from you, Giulio. You know, Wallfarm is one of our proud sponsors for the 6th Global Vertical Farming Show. We would like to hear from you. How are automation and remote monitoring system reshaping vertical farming to optimize yield and boost revenue? Over to you, Giulio.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for the chance to be here with all of you. And I try to share our point of view from our experience. We can say over the past decades, we have seen automation become a central force in many sectors, from manufacturing to logistics, bringing about real improvements in how organization manage resources and adapt to challenges. Agriculture, however, has historically been a step behind, we can say, often relying on manual labor and less data-driven processes. In recent years, the gap has begun to close, especially with the rise of vertical farming and availability of more advanced technology, of course. And at Wallfarm, we have been in the forefront of this transformation, developing and implementing automation and remote monitoring solution for years. So our philosophy is that true innovation means going behind simple labor reduction, and it's more about building systems that learn, adapt, and optimize every single day. So for us, this means designing platforms that connect advanced sensor networks, predictive AI, and automation. So every agronomic decision is based on real-time data and continuous feedback. And we are not just reaching to problems, we are able to anticipate plant needs and optimize everything from nutrient dosing to environmental condition, always aiming for maximum quality and efficiency. So in practice, this approach has helped us to and our clients achieve more stable yields, higher production quality, and better resource management, even across multiple growing sites. And it also means we can adapt very quickly to market change and external condition, making our farm and systems more resilient, reliable, and profitable also. Today's greenhouses are no longer just simple shelter from the weather. They have become true laboratories, large incubators, we can say, where both the climate and nutrient supply are kept at the highest known optimal condition. Many players, such as, I don't know if you know it, in Italy there is Planet Farm. They even operate in clean room environments, bringing the microbial load on the final product close to zero. So it's very scientist This approach effectively eliminates external variables, allowing producers to plan with remarkable precision in terms of timing, volumes, and revenues. When you can guarantee that a certain product will consistently deliver a specific markup, your business plan becomes much more reliable and robust. This, in turn, attracts greater investment as automation technology acts like a real risk buffer, giving both operators and investors much more confidence in their outcomes, for sure. So while automation and remote monitoring are still evolving, I can say from direct experience that they are setting a new standard for vertical farming. And our commitment in Wallfarm is to keep pushing this standard forward, making agriculture more efficiency and adaptive, sustainable for long term. So on this note, I'm happy to announce, if I can, that we will be present in the Global Vertical Farming Show for the first time worldwide to present our joint venture with two other Italian companies. We are about to unveil what for us is the final solution for this new era of cultivation. So we also invite you to join and visit our stand for talk more about it.
Yeah, Giulio, we are very excited to have you on board with us for this 6th Global Vertical Farming Show. And thank you so much for answering the question. Indeed, technology and innovation is truly redefining the way farms operate and making smart automation a key to future success. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Emilia, on the sustainability front, what circular or regenerative approaches can vertical farms adopt to stay profitable and eco-friendly? Over to you, Dr. Emilia.
So it's very great questions. Based on my knowledge and experience, I can say that vertical farms can achieve long-term profitability while reducing the impact on environment, but only if they combine technology, biology, agroecological knowledge, and growers' cultivation skills. When I talk about technology, I mean things like automation, AR, recirculation system, and climate and lighting control. The biological aspect means smart use of microorganisms, plant microbiome interaction, plant-insect interaction, and understanding plant physiology. It's also important, and it also includes the impact of microclimate conditions and the risk of disease in closed systems, and importance of IPM, so integrated pest management. I see a very strong synergy between technology and biology, supported by practical experience. That makes it possible to design vertical farms as optimized adaptive production system. The focus is on minimizing cost and growing healthy food by reducing the use of chemical inputs. Choosing IPM solutions and sustainable production is one of the key steps to help us achieve better profitability and lower environmental impact. I also need to mention the closed loop system for irrigation water. It's really helps reduce pressure on the environment. It also significantly lowers production costs. Recirculation system can recover almost 95% of water and reduce fertilizer loss. Adding biofilters, UV filters, or EC sensors, pH sensors allows for better control of nutrient solutions, which really help us use less fertilizer. Here, the growers' knowledge, especially regarding fertilization, is extremely valuable. Incorrect set EC level can lead to over-fertilization, such as with nitrogen. Plants may grow faster, but they became more exposed to pest attack. It's also important to remember that there is a clear connection between ventilation efficiency and water recovery in close vertical or hydroponic systems. This is because ventilation controls air humidity. And when humidity is too low, for example, below 50%, plants transpire too much, which increase water use. So stable ventilation means stable humidity, fewer water losses, and better water recirculation. Another very important factor is use of microbiology, such mycorrhiza, growing promoting bacteria. They support plant health and help plants absorb nutrients from solution more effectively. Also important is the choice of right plant species and varieties, and in fact is a key part of circular design in vertical farming. Choosing the right varieties has a direct impact on resource use and the biology resistance of the system and the market value of the crops. And key features include low need of water, light, fertilizers, short production cycle, and high harvest rate. And of course, natural resistance to environment stress and diseases. A good example is fast-growing leaf vegetables like arugula or lamb's lettuce. Growing helps with low needs for water, fertilizers is also efficiency and profitable. And it's a really perfect choice for a closed system. For example, lemon balm adapts better to stress condition than common basil, or we can cultivate thyme because thyme is also a plant with low requirements. And really the most popular last time, microgreens like pea, like mustard, sunflower, they grow very fast, they are easy to growing and low cost. And because they leave the production system quickly, they are less exposed to pest pressure, and they are almost like functional food. So nowadays we see that consumers need functional food. For me, post-harvest and packing are also really important. Eco-friendly packing made from plant waste. It's a part of closed-loop system and help reduce environmental footprint. And one thing that it's really rarely mentioned, even in controlled environment, local conditions have an impact on healthy food production. They affect efficiency of ventilation or energy system, and why vertical farms operate in closed system, regional factors still matter. So such as humidity or UV index or outside temperature fluctuation. And this influences the risk of pathogens outbreak, for example. And choosing local varieties a lot of times means choosing plants that are resistant to local pathogens. And for example, we can cultivate lettuce varieties in areas with high humidity and condensation, like Allegro lettuce. And these varieties is very resilient to humidity. And to sum up, vertical farm should not be seen only as isolated system, but as adaptive ecosystem.
Dr. Julian, let's shift towards the market outlook. With the UAE gaining traction, what indicators suggest it is becoming a regional profit hotspot for vertical farming? Over to you, Dr. Julian.
Well, thank you very much for asking me that. As an economist, I have a particular interest in this from a vertical farming perspective. I think the logic of this is to look at the UAE's position as far as macroeconomics and macroeconomic indicators, as well as sectoral indicators in a series of buckets or categories. So if we look at the UAE from a macroeconomic perspective, we all know, of course, that with a very stable macroeconomic environment, relatively low inflation, a GDP growth that's the envy of the Western world, certainly, if not even the developing world, and relatively effective conditions in respect of all the other external indicators, money supply and so forth. This is a benign economic environment generally in which to proceed. I think part of that also links to the question of availability of funds for investment, but that's a question for another day or another time. Then I think the other issue that from the point of view of macroeconomic indicators and aspects of the economy generally that are relevant are things which for many agricultural production systems, and certainly even for many conventional production systems generally, are actually rather a negative factor. But in the case of vertical farming, they turn out to be very positive. And that is the gradual increase in the price of land, particularly peri-urban land, which means that although there are opportunities, as in Abu Dhabi, for example, to occupy land relatively cheaply outside the city's land itself, it's relatively expensive. And of course, we can't be considering, due to climatic reasons, we can't really be considering the idea of broadacre agriculture anyway, as it exists in countries like Australia or the United States or other such issues. So the structure of land prices looks, and certainly from the modelling work that I've done, looks very positive for the opportunity for vertical farms to be created and so forth. And that's backed up, of course, by the willingness of the UAE government to provide financial and economic support, which underlays all of this and is, of course, predicated itself on having positive macroeconomics and the ability to invest through sovereign wealth funds and other instruments. Then there's questions of transportation. One of the difficulties that vertical farms have had in large countries is that they need to transport these items from their farms relatively quickly. And the UAE is quite compact so far as population is concerned, relatively speaking. And so from a geographical point of view, as well as a financial and a macroeconomic perspective, that again is another very positive aspect of the conditions for the growth of vertical farming. The other thing that I think it's worth pointing out is that in some countries, vertical farming has been challenged, at least, not completely, but certainly to a part, by high electricity costs. Now, the other aspect, of course, of being in the UAE, that you have relatively benign electricity prices, which again is relatively helpful as well. So from a cost of capital point of view, from a costings overall position, the fact that the UAE is such a desirable place for people to want to live and work also means that getting hold of the necessary technical skills isn't that difficult for vertical farms. The opportunity to go and work for a vertical farm in the UAE sounds like a dream appointment for many engineers and others, and I'm sure it is. So I don't think there'll be much difficulty from that point of view. Overall, I think my general assessment of this is the UAE is placed very favourably to become development for vertical farming hubs in the future, and will be one certainly of the top vertical farming destinations globally in terms of its development over the next 10 years as this market expands, as I'm quite sure it will.
Very interesting. Thank you for answering the question, Dr. Julian. And it is clear that the UAE, is setting the pace for vertical farming, and there are a lot of opportunities on the way. Now, Giulio, back to you. In your experience, what tech investments offer the best ROI for farms targeting high throughput production with minimal labor input? Over to you, Giulio.
Okay, well, when we talk about return of investment in high throughput farming, it's natural to focus first on labor reduction or immediate productivity gains. In our experience, through the tech investment, that deliver the best and most sustainable ROIs go well behind simple automation and a single process or replacing manual labor with machines. At Wallfarm, we have learned over years of R&D and field experience is that real value emerge when you create a truly integrated system. So a platform that can combine predictive AI, precision nutrient management, advanced environmental control, of course, and a high degree of scalability. This isn't just a theoretical method for us, it's what we have implemented, and it's the foundation for results our clients see every day. With this kind of integrated approach, every aspect of production, from nutrient dosing to climate control and crop scheduling, can be managed and optimized in real time, based on data, not on guesswork. So this allowed us to minimize waste, maximize yield consistency, and ensure the quality for every harvest, regardless of functions in the external environment of workforce availability. What's more, the system scalability means that farms can start with a modest investment and expand it as needed, simply by adding new modules or integrating additional greenhouses. So this progressive growth model spreads risk and allows the operators to adjust their investment piece to their real business development. And it's an advantage that it's often underestimated when calculating ROI. Another important point I will stress is how much value comes from actionable data. Because by tracking every input and environmental variable down to nutrient bottle via NFC or the energy per meter square, farmer can make better decision, prevent issue before they rise, and demonstrate result transparently to partners and investor. So this transparency is increasingly important, not just for internal management, but also for accessing finance, building trust with the stakeholders, and meeting the demands of the global market. Ultimately, I believe the best ROI comes from not from chasing the last device or software, but from adopting a system designed for resilience and flexibility and continuous improvement. In an era marked by climate unpredictability, market volatility, and rising consumer expectation, we think that only those who invest in adaptive and future-proof platform will be able to grow sustainability and profitably over time. And then another little thing that I would like to share, and it's important to add that with this type of technology, every farmer can rely on ever improving predictive AI while still having the ability to scientifically develop their own custom cultivation programs. And this is especially valuable for those working on genetic selection, recovering rare species, or simply wanting to standardize and certify their cultivation techniques. In fact, each unique protocol can become a digital asset, like an NFT token, we can say, that represent intellectual property, giving producer a new way to protect and share and even monetize their know-how. That's why our philosophy is to offer a technological compass, we can say, a tool that not only delivers immediate efficiency gain, but also support business in navigating complexity, sizing new opportunities, and safeguarding results in a very fast changing world.
Great insights, Giulio. Thank you for answering the question. Now, Dr. Emilia, your thoughts, please. Can you please tell us how can vertical farming startups balance cost efficiency with sustainability, especially in competitive urban markets? Over to you, Dr. Emilia.
Efficiency start with knowledge and planning. No matter if we talk about vertical farm in the city center or traditional field production. Success depends on understanding supply and demand, choosing the right plant species, varieties, planning crop rotation and harvest strategies, and knowing plant physiology and their nutrients needs. Without this foundation, even the most advanced technology may lead to loss instead of reducing cost. In highly competitive urban markets, startups should follow a smart strategy that connects horticulture experience, market analysis, and innovation. One good example is using closed loop system with water recirculation and fertilization with real-time control of EC and pH. This system helps reduce waste and improve environmental results at the same time. Most startups don't pay enough attention to water and oxygen around the roots. They focus more on lights and machines, but good oxygen levels in the root zone are one of the most important things for healthy plant and saving costs. Startup can also build their own advantage by offering premium products, ultra fresh, just in time deliveries, functional food, quality certification like organic or global gap or urban farming labels, or chemical free produce, or transparent and honest production stories. Choosing the right species and varieties is also very important, especially short cycle crops with high value and disease resistance. This helps reduce losses, improve profitability, and give better control inventory system. Also, using IPM from beginning can help startups significantly reduce production costs. Instead of focusing expensive chemical sprays, startups can monitor pest disease in real time. They can also use biological control. And also, an ecological image increase customer trust. Working with university also helps to introduce innovation without high investment cost. I have noticed that customers more and more often care about clear information using QR codes. I think that it's a great way to reach new clients. The code can show, for example, plant type, healthy benefits, or photo from the farms. It attracts new customers and shows that business is modern and up to date. In summary, sustainability is not a cost, it's a competitive advantage. It's also important to show the customer that the company is active on the market. A startup can combine technology, data, and ecological values into one strong production model. Will not only survive but also gain local customers, trusted investors, and important institutional partners. And thank you.
Excellent, Emilia. A perfect balance of cost and at the same time care for the environment is what will, truly define the successful urban farming. Dr. Julian, let's touch upon funding. So please tell us, how do investment models like triple P's, venture capital, or sovereign funds shape the scale and speed of vertical farming expansion in the Middle East? Over to you, Dr. Julian.
Well, thank you for that. Well, I'm acutely aware that I have real vertical farmers alongside me in this, who of course have the job of funding their own organizations at a practical level. So I can speak from a partly theoretical perspective, a perspective of logic, but also from what I know about how vertical farms generally are being funded and how they work. So I think it's a question of what one might describe as horses for courses in relation to vertical farms. We are at a very decisive and cusp point at which vertical farming is becoming commercially competitive. And as it becomes commercially competitive, so it opens up a huge range of potential funding sources which have hitherto been denied to it. And the most obvious for that, of course, is debt funding, which requires regular cash flows, which in turn will come from the ability of vertical farms to be able to sell on a regular basis. That's coming, and that will happen in the future. As to the current situation and where we are, venture capital funding, of course, has been, if not plentiful, then certainly available in the Middle Eastern context, and is certainly one way of supporting vertical farms. But venture capital funding comes with quite rigorous requirements in terms of timescale and expected returns and so forth. And there is a large wall to ascend in terms of knowledge and connecting between the way that vertical farms think and operate and the way that venture capitalists do. So although it's true that venture capitalists in the Middle East have invested in vertical farms, it is not by any means the only way in which they're going to be able to fund themselves. As we look at vertical farms at the moment, there are a range of different other possibilities. We have supplier chain finance from customers and off-takers and so forth, which are contributing. We have a certain measure of retained funds. But as we grow, then I think the model that you represented, that you pointed out there in terms of public-private partnerships, is definitely a possibility, and they fall really within a larger range of off-taker agreements. Because once you have your off-taker arrangement, then you can make your bank financing and you can get your debt financing in place and so forth, because you have the contract to be able to use. But we're also looking at large-scale investments by larger organizations once we move along the feed chain, as it were, and the size of the operations becomes larger and becomes feasible for larger organizations that have significant due diligence costs to have to overcome before they invest. So corporates themselves, of course, and also sovereign wealth funds that may be in a position to put their money behind these, especially in all of these cases, because now there is significant pressure from shareholders and other stakeholders to follow ESG mandates, to improve the ESG scores, to deliver higher ratings in that regard. And of course, vertical farms tick every box in terms of being able to supply a good quality ESG reporting, plenty of good examples, and other qualities in terms of their production. So a range of different financing sources is the answer. Not every vertical farm will be financed in the same way. A changing environment in terms of funding, I think, particularly over the next 10 years, but certainly a promising one. And in relation to what I said before, of course, also very useful that the UAE has a large range of different available funding opportunities to it and a relatively liquid funding environment right away across the board.
Thank you so much, Dr. Julian. Indeed, funding models definitely plays a crucial role in driving the pace and scope of growth in the sector. So this concludes our insightful webinar. Thank you to all our esteemed panelists for sharing your valuable insights today. It is clear that vertical farming holds immense potential, not just for food security, but also as a sustainable, profitable business model. So thank you to our audience for joining us today. Stay tuned for the 6th Global Vertical Farming Show on 10th and 11th September at Festival Arena, Dubai, where these ideas will come to life. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.